I'm not very good at studying, and I know many people aren't either. But why am I making this video about how to study when I'm not even that good at it? Well, for one, it's for a grade, but also it's so you don't end up like me and make the mistakes that I'm about to list out here. Here are some of the mistakes of what not to do. Number one, procrastinate. Stop saying, I'm gonna do it later, because you know that your future self is also gonna be just as lazy as you are now. And leaving it to your future self is gonna make it so your future self is gonna leave it to your future self. And then you're not gonna do it, and then you're gonna have to do it all the way when it's 1 minute due, and you're gonna be rushing it, and you're probably not gonna get a good grade. Number two, multitasking. Stop trying to study for 5 different classes in the same day. It's not gonna work, and you're gonna be overwhelmed. If you have 5 tests tomorrow that you have to study for, then good luck, because studying for all of them is not going to work out well. Okay, now here are 5 tips on what you should actually do. Number one, don't cram, but spread out your work instead. Basically, you have to have study sessions of 30 minutes or something instead of just staying up all night trying to understand some term for AP psychology. Another tip when studying is to make sure to reread and relearn things you've already learned. A good way to do this is by testing yourself. One thing that I like to use is Quizlet because of their flashcard option. It allows you to test yourself very well and make sure you know words. Another good way to test yourself is by writing down the answers and information instead of picking from multiple choice answers. This allows you to properly remember things and will help you when doing things like FRQs and written responses. It's also easier to remember something when you write it down instead of having to choose from multiple choice answers. You also learn more and understand the topic better if you write it down multiple times instead of just picking from a multiple choice answer when testing yourself. If you're forced to write down and think about the answer to a problem instead of just finding the answer from multiple choice, you're more likely to remember it and do better in tests. Number two, create a schedule or routine. You want to make sure you have a routine or habit of studying at a specific time and place, so then you always know when to study and you don't have to rely on your own motivation to do so. One way I do it is that I take my school device downstairs in my living room away from my personal computer and listen to some music. A little side note, apparently you're not supposed to listen to music while studying because it distracts you. But personally, I think that music helps me a lot into focusing. But if you want to maximize your studying and get the most out of your studying, then you should not listen to music. The reason why having a specific place to study is good is because then when your brain goes into that space, it realizes that this is the place where you're going to work. It's kind of like going to the gym. If you've ever been to the gym, you know that it's so much better than trying to do a home workout because you're somewhere where the only thing to do is work out. Then you have no real choice than to work out. Same goes with studying. If you have a spot where you go to study and there's no distractions like your personal computer or your bed, then you really have no other option but to study. Number three, sleep, sleep, sleep. Sleep is probably the most important thing if you want to remember what you studied. I'm not going to go into the science of it because it's very complicated and it wouldn't help you in understanding why it's so good. But just to explain it in a very concise way, when you're sleep deprived, you're doing that little head bopping thing. That head bopping thing when you're almost going to sleep but you're trying to stay awake. And if you're doing that, you're not paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, you can't study. Also, sleep strengthens your memories that you made throughout the day. Basically, no sleep equals no attention, and no attention equals no learning. And if there's no learning going on, then you won't get good grades or you won't learn anything. Then you won't remember anything. Number four, make it fun or at the very least, not boring. Everyone hates studying because it's boring, but it doesn't have to be. You could use studying as a way to have fun as well. Here's an idea I came up with. When you're in the testing yourself phase, you can make it so whenever you get a question wrong, you have to do something like 10 push ups or 20 squats. That way, you can kill two birds with one stone. This is good because it's also been proven that physical exercise releases proteins that help improve memory and increase your brain performance. If you have trouble thinking of ways to make studying fun, I would recommend searching it up. But it's also very easy to come up with. This idea of doing this push up and squat thing, this exercise routine to make it more fun, is something I came up with just now, like in 1 minute. So if I can come up with something like that, I'm sure you can as well. And if you think stuff like exercise isn't fun, then maybe you could try the Pomodoro technique, where you study for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. It doesn't have to be 25 minutes and then a 5-minute break. It could be 10 minutes and a 1-minute break. It just depends on how you want to do it. Just incorporate something fun, or at least not boring, into your studying sessions so you find it more interesting and you'll be willing to do it more. Okay, this last tip is more of a personal thing that helped me and that I personally believed will help with just life in general, but also really helps with studying. And that is number 5, meditation. Meditation is really good at taking away anxiety and making you feel relaxed. If you don't know how to meditate, then you can just search up a 5-minute video on YouTube and just follow along. I just recommend not having music in the background. The reason why I don't recommend having music in the background is because it can hinder your meditation and make you less focused on just getting relaxed. But to each their own. Meditation helps people redirect their attention, manage emotions and impulses, increase understanding, lengthens attention spans, and improves your quality of life. Overall, meditation is great when you're super stressed and need to study for something, or just for life in general. Whenever you feel like you don't know what to do, or feel like the world is on your shoulders, then meditate. Trust me, it helps a lot. Okay, so those are all my tips on how to study, and I hope that this helped you in understanding on how to study better. Alright, bye bye.